Hey everyone, this is Ruan. Welcome back to another video. And in this video today, what you're going to learn is several SEO tips into 2021 that you likely are not researching. And I want to cover some of these because we've been seeing pretty large success with a lot of these SEO strategies. And if you're watching this video and you're either a business owner or you own an agency and you do this for your clients, you're certainly not going to want to miss this because I'm going to show you real examples of everything that I'm talking about. And so with that being said, I'm going to show you some of the things that we're doing right now for our client base and some of the things that we're looking into for 2021 that's really going to separate our sites compared to our competitor sites. And inside of this video, I'm going to show you real examples of our clients that we're working on with real impact, and we're going to show you kind of some of the stuff that we're doing. So to kick it off, I wanted to show you a quick result here for the keyword Dallas, Texas plumbing. We have our good friend Roger Wakefield at Texas Green Plumbing ranking above the Google Maps section in the organic. And this exactly is because of this, we're going to show you exactly what we did to get this type of result. Dallas is a gigantic, enormous place. So it's not like it's easy to rank there. It's actually quite difficult. And it took us a couple of months. And so, but it's possible, right? And so a lot of people say SEO is dead. SEO is not worth it. Google search is not where you need to be. You need to be on social media. And while a multi-channel approach is pretty important, it's still critical that you get your SEO strategy down, especially if you're a local business, because the beauty of searching online is that's when the customer wants to buy something. That's when that buyer intent is happening. So if you can position your site that way, you're going to get the most traffic, you're going to get more phone calls, and you're going to grow, and you're going to stop wondering why the company down the street from you has more service fans or why the dentist down the street from you has more dentists. And it's important that you understand this. So number one, right, probably the first thing that you really need to understand is analyzing your competitors' pages, okay? And so basically what you need to understand is you can analyze your competitors' pages and really see what keywords they're ranking for higher than you are. So in this example, I'm using a tool called SEMrush, and I highly recommend you use a tool like this if you're going to be doing any SEO analysis. Yes, it's paid, but if you're paying for a tool like this, you're taking it seriously, and it's very, very recommended. So if I type in Baker Brothers inside of SEMrush, I can basically see a domain overview of pretty much everything that's going on with this actual profile. And so what's really cool about SEMrush is I can go down to the organic search traffic and I can start to see which one of their keywords are the highest ranking keywords inside of the actual list here. Now, what's really nice about this is I can go down and I can see all the keyword positions that this customer or this person is ranking for. So obviously you can see a lot of their traffic is branded, meaning people are typing in that company's actual name. And SEMrush will give us the SERP features. They'll give us that they're ranking in the maps, they're ranking, they have site links, they have a video that's ranking, and they have a reviews section that's ranking. And you can see how much volume is actually associated with their branded search traffic here. Now look, it's really hard to compete with a company that has a lot of branded search traffic. For those of you that aren't familiar with what branded search traffic means, is it's basically the differentiator between how many people search for that brand compared to how many times the people search for a keyword like Dallas leak detection, Dallas plumbing, or Dallas, Texas plumbing, or something along those lines. Now, inside of SEMrush, if you were to go back to the actual homepage, it's ultimately really easy to determine how much of a competitor's site is branded traffic versus non-branded traffic. So you can see right here that their branded traffic only makes up for 13% of their actual keyword portfolio. And this is very impressive for this competitor in that local market, because with 8,000 searches and that only makes 59 of their keywords, that makes me realize that this company is doing a lot more outside of just doing Google Ads, SEO, and website. They're doing billboards, they're doing radio, they're doing print magazine, etc. And you may be wondering, why is that so important for SEO? Well, if people are searching for your site directly in the Google search results, that's telling Google that your site is important, your site is more important than the competitors, you're known for your service, and that's a direct indication of rankings inside of the Google search results. So understanding that branded versus non-branded traffic is very important. For example, your local cheeseburger restaurant that's closer to you, it likely is not as popular as McDonald's is. Therefore, McDonald's ranks for higher keywords because a lot more people search for it. So Google is in pure belief that when somebody types in fast food restaurant, cheeseburger near them, they're going to show McDonald's because there's so much of that branded activity going on. Now, with that being said, there's also so many organic keywords that this company is ranking for. You can see here that they're ranking for about 20,000, 6.2K organic keyword phrases. That means they're showing up 6,000 times potentially on a daily basis when somebody types in any organic keyword. Now, that doesn't mean that their keywords are all super relevant. They could be blogging about irrelevant things and ranking for easy, long tail keywords. But this is really important to understand going into 2021 because you really need to make the differentiator in what your keyword strategy actually is. If you can increase your branded search strategy, if you can increase the amount of times people type in your company name, that's going to dramatically help your SEO. And often when we work with clients at Develomark, one of the little qualifiers that we look into is the search traffic for that company's actual name, because that will give us a determination as to if that company's A, legitimate, if it's getting real customers, and if it's getting search volume, they're doing marketing outside of their website, because we understand how important it is to do that type of marketing for this type of stuff to work. And so with that being said, you can start to go down and you can start to see a lot of their different metrics inside of SEMrush. But my favorite thing is to actually look inside of their keyword portfolio. And inside of their keyword portfolio, there's a few things that I look at. One thing is the trend. If you can see your competitor's trend, and the trend will basically tell you where their keywords are moving up and down on a month-to-month basis. Now, if you're an agency, this is really important to look at because this will give you a good gauge as to where that client's going, what that SEO is doing for that client, and if showing a positive or a negative movement. And then what I like to do is I like to look at the keywords, and specifically, I like to filter by cost per click. And the reason why I would filter by cost per click is that's going to show me all of the keywords that are a little more difficult to rank for instead of just looking at, their branded search result, because their branded search result, we aren't really interested in ranking for that. That may be part of your SEO strategy, having your client rank for competitor branded terms, which I'll show you a strategy on how to do that later in this video, actually. But ultimately, some people don't like that. Some people think it's unprofessional. To me, I don't really care. I think if you can get organic traffic, it is what it is. But there is a potential of, lawsuits, and people don't want your brand on their website. So stick away from that strategy. I'm going to show you some other things inside of this video that's going to be really nice, but you can see like a keyword like plumbing companies in Rockwall, right? This is a keyword phrase that they're ranking number 3 for. This gets 20 search volume. The keyword difficulty is 54, and the cost per click is about 74. So if I were to search this result inside of the Google search engines, you can see that they also have the Google local service ads, and then they're organically ranking on the 3rd result here. Now, if this is a service area that's going to make sense for our client, Texas Green Plumbing, then this is automatically a keyword that we would want to target. Now, targeting these location-based keywords, that's a whole other story, but you can see where I'm going by just understanding what your competitors are ranking for and planning and analyzing your content based on what they're ranking for, so you can determine what's the next step, what keywords are bringing them money, what keywords are driving them revenue. And SEMrush, any other tool, but SEMrush for Develomark is the best tool to use this because we can quickly and easily understand what your competitors are ranking for. And now when it comes to actually creating a content strategy, you'll typically have 2 main focus areas. The first one is optimizing your existing text content on your website, your video content, etc. The second one is creating new content, which is really where Develomark aims to work with on local level. So while optimizing the existing content is quite important, it's also critical to understand that you need to optimize new content and you need to have a publishing plan for your ongoing SEO. And there's probably no better way of doing this than using what's called a keyword gap analysis. And basically what this does is it compares several domains and it tells you what keywords you're showing up for, your competitors, and which one tools like SEMrush, Ahrefs, whichever ones that you're using will determine as to what are most important. So on my screen here, I have an example of a keyword gap analysis. And so if you're using SEMrush in competitive research under keyword gap, you can go in and do this. I can put in Texas Green Plumbing, let's say, okay? And then I can put in, let's say, Dallas Plumbing. I can put in Cohen Plumbing, Reeves Plumbing, and let's say Watermark Plumbing. So SEMrush is smart enough to detect what organic competitors are in that area. And so basically what you're going to do is once you're done, granted you're in the US, you're going to click on compare. And what this report is going to do is it's going to basically show you everything that your efforts should be turned to when creating new content. And so you can't just run and gun things. You've got to really understand what keywords you're missing, what are the potential keywords that you can rank for, and do it that way to steer your content plan towards the right direction when doing that. So after I've entered this in, you're going to hit compare, and you're going to see a detailed insight into new keyword opportunities, and you're going to see a nice little map here. So as you can see, Texas Green Plumbing, which is our client, seems to be the second biggest keyword map inside of this market compared to the other company, the main competitor, Baker Brothers, because they're gigantic. Now, with this being said, at 674 keywords that our client's ranking for, our main competitor is ranking for 1.6K, which is Dallas Plumbing. I thought it was Baker Brothers. It's actually Dallas Plumbing. And then, our runner-up, which is Watermark Plumbing, is ranking for 432 keywords. Now, how can I get this 674 up to 1,000, up to 2,000, up to more keyword phrases? Now, more keyword phrases does not necessarily mean more money in the bank, but it does mean that you're going to rank more in the organic search, which could lead to money in the bank. Granted, you follow these steps and pick the right keyword phrases for you or your customer. So with that being said, some of the things that I look inside of here is I look at, you can, and also one other really important thing to know is you can filter this. But ultimately, what I like to do inside of here is I like to look at some of the keywords that these competitors are ranking for. So if you look at here, you can see the keyword details for shared, and this is what's going to show me, where our competitors are ranking for on this keyword. The green is going to show us which one's ranking the highest. Obviously, DallasPlumbing.com is going to rank for Dallas Plumbing, even though I think we just beat them. This hasn't updated yet. According to this result, and you guys can go search that to confirm that I'm not just seeing this. I see that it was cached. But ultimately, this keyword gap analysis is going to tell us what we're missing as well. And this is my favorite one right here, is clicking the missing, because this is going to show me exactly what we're missing for. Drain cleaning Plano. I'm not sure if we have a page targeting that. Faucet repair Dallas. I'm not sure if we have a page covering that. Hot water heater repair Plano. Not sure that we're doing that. A lot of the different keywords looks like they're Plano. So at this point, what we would do is go right back to the drawing board to see if this was a target area for this customer when they initially signed on to our SEO company, Develomark. So, with that being said, if this is a target area that they wanted to focus on, or if you as a customer or a business owner have target areas that you want to focus on, you really want to see, okay, so it looks like I'm missing a lot of Plano and a lot of Garland. And what this is telling me is they're ranking in those areas. We might want to rank in those areas as well. And granted, these pages, as you can see right here, if you go here, you can see the URL that's ranking on those pages. A lot of those pages seem to be the home page. So in my suspicion, it might make sense because these companies might be physically located in that area. So this business right here, Dallas Plumbing, let's say, is actually Plano Road. And so that might be a reason as to why they're ranking organically in Plano, where our client's organically in Richardson. But that does not mean we can't create a location-based targeted URL to rank in Plano with new, unique content. And so this is how you can kind of systematically, plan out your content marketing efforts for a local site. And so the next thing I want to talk about is using digital PR, digital public relations. And this is a critical thing going into 2021, especially because everybody's doing the same thing in the organic search results. So it's kind of hard to differentiate yourself if everybody's doing the same SEO tactics. Everybody's writing title tags. Everybody's doing meta descriptions. Everybody's writing unique content. How can you leverage digital PR to get your brand out there? Roger does a great job of this, our client at Texas Green Plumbing. As you can see here, he has a YouTube channel. And so on his YouTube channel, every time that he makes a video, and just because you're in the trades, just because you think you have a boring type of business does not mean that you can't make YouTube videos. There's a book called They Ask, You Answer, written by an agency in Connecticut called Impact. And it's a wonderful book that basically talks about if you just answer your customers' questions on video or blog, you're going to get traffic. Even though you think your topic is extremely boring, anybody can take advantage of digital PR. And so I want to show you kind of how this works. So every time Roger posts a video, he links his Texas Green Plumbing website. So he links his actual website inside of his quote unquote social media page. And as you can see right here, the people that go to this website, YouTube sees that and Google sees that as what we call quote unquote referral traffic. The more referral traffic that the client gets from YouTube, the more they're going to rank in the organic search results when it comes to those highly competitive keywords, because this is something that he's doing different in comparison to the large plumbing company Baker Brothers in that area. This is something that other plumbing companies won't do, and this is a direct selling advantage for Roger. So one of the reasons why this is important is because if you're trying to earn authority backlinks, and I'm going to say this once more, authority backlinks is not something an agency can build for you if you're local. It's something that you have to earn. You have to get this quote unquote earned media. Any agency that's building backlinks are usually paid for spam from their own client sites, from a web of different websites. And the moment that that network gets hit, expect Google Search Console, the tool, Google Webmaster Tools, expect it to give you issues in terms of algorithm updates, bumping your site down, giving you a warning to remove those links. If you want to completely avoid that, listen to this advice. Start by creating visual content on YouTube, getting a name for yourself in your vertical, starting a podcast, starting any type of digital media or digital PR that's going to help you drive referral traffic over to your website if you want to rank local. Yes, referral traffic helps you rank local. YouTube helps you rank local. Facebook helps you rank local. LinkedIn helps you rank local. All of that helps you rank local. Do not listen to the SEO that says you don't need to do any of that to rank local. It has now become a multi-channel approach. And this is proven to be correct based on my Dallas, Texas plumbing example that you can see here. And so how does this help? Well, look at this article. This is an article that Roger was featured on Forbes. And the cool part about this is if you look at the actual article here, there is a link that goes to his website, and this is a branded URL, and it basically says, which one right for you? Roger Wakefield, LEEDAP, owner of Richardson-based Texas Green Plumbing. That is a branded authority backlink from Forbes. Yes, it is no follow. Yes, it still counts for search results. He would have not been able to get this if he wasn't so active on YouTube. Other sites are searching for information online to reference. They find his videos, they find his content, and they reference him online. If you are a plumber, if you are HVAC, if you are cleaning, if you are a dentist, if you're a doctor, if you are anybody that's local, there is an opportunity for you to use your voice online, and you will be rewarded that not only in better promotion, better PR, better backlinks, better traffic on your site, better subscriber rates, but ultimately that engagement is going to lead to getting more authoritative backlinks. And so the next tip for 2021 is improving your click-through rate through tracking. And so click-through rate is basically the amount of times that somebody searches for your brand or a keyword that's you're trying to rank for and clicks your result. Now, as you can see right here, I'm looking at a Google Search Console report for Texas Green Plumbing, and you can see that the keyword Dallas Plumbing, there's a large difference here in terms of click-through rate. Dallas Plumber, there's a large difference. Dallas TX Plumbing, it looks like there's a less of a difference. And so that is an easy target opportunity keyword for us to obviously get more traffic from because it already has a higher click-through rate, which makes sense as to why it's ranking higher for that keyword specifically. Now, if your keyword is seeing less of results, so if I go to Google right now and I type in Dallas Plumbers, ultimately, I think that because of where we are, you can see that the Baker Brothers are ranking, Dallas Plumbing is ranking, Texas Green is at the bottom of the first page almost, and you can directly see that reflection inside of the actual click-through rate in Google Search Console. If you want to improve your click-through rate, you're just going to have to rank higher. The moment that you rank higher in the organic search results is the moment that you start receiving better click-through rates. All of the tips that I'm mentioning inside of this video should be your priority in terms of getting your site to rank higher on a month-to-month basis. Ultimately, once you get there, you're going to get a higher click-through rate. Now, there's another easy way that you can increase your click-through rate, and that's actually by running a Google Ads campaign. A Google Ads campaign will add more visitors to your website on a daily basis, and ultimately will increase your user signals to Google, which will ultimately get you to rank higher on the actual organic search results. I know this sounds like a myth, but it's something that Google's definitely looking at. It's not confirmed. They haven't said anything about that, But just from our point of view, sites that run Google Ads generally rank higher in the organic search results. There's more user engagement signals going to that domain. There's more traffic going there. There's more testing that you can do. There's better optimizations that you can do. And overall, using Google Ads is a really good way to do this because you can determine the best tags to use, you can determine the best meta descriptions to use, you can determine the best keywords to target, and Google Ads is going to tell you what those click-through rates are going to be way better than Google Search Console is going to tell you because they provide you with better analytics if you pay for it. That's just how it works. If you're a brand that's local, you should be investing in Google Ads and getting really good at it because that is what's going to increase some of your user engagement signals, and it's going to give you a heads up from your competitor inside of your local market. And think about it this way. If Google sees one local business paying thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars towards Google Ads, and they see another business that's not paying anything, they're probably going to reward the business that's paying the actual money because money isn't something that you can falsify. You can falsify SEO results. You can't falsify payments towards Google. And so the next one I want to talk about is featured snippets. Now, if you can win these featured snippets, you're going to have a great time with your SEO strategy. So this is an example of a company that we're working with called cornellscott.org. This is a federally qualified health center, and they actually offer COVID-19 testing. And so when somebody types in the keyword, a variety of keywords, COVID-19 testing in that area, they get this nice featured snippet box that talks about the day, the date, location, address, and the hours. Now, what's doing this? What's getting the site to rank like this? Well, if you click on the page, you can see that the way this page is formatted gives the viewer that information that they're looking for. And so because of this, this page is going to rank higher for that, and it's going to allow the Google search results to accurately pick up what that page is trying to communicate. And so the best way to really research what are some good featured snippet opportunities for you is to use SEMrush and start to go in and start to see which actual results have the featured snippet extension onto their thing. Generally, featured snippets often happen with any type of question, any type of asked answer, any type of quick information that you're going to need. Investopedia does a great job with this, where they have, here are the key takeaways of this. But ultimately, what, how, can I, all of those different types of things are going to offer what's called a featured snippet, which is very helpful because to Google's eyes, the visitor doesn't have to get the website to get the answer, but it does drastically increase the actual click-through rate. And I've showed this example before, but something like what does mold smell like, which is a keyword that gets searched a lot. You can see that there's a featured snippet here, and it looks like someone beat our result because we were there before. But generally, the featured snippet is going to take the best answer that Google sees fit to give to the visitor there. And if the visitor wants to continue and visit the website, they can do so. Getting that featured snippet is critical because it's going to address the questions that customers are asking your customers. It's going to allow you to rank for voice search when somebody goes into their phone and they say, "Hey Siri," and my Siri's not turned on, so she won't turn on. But if I just say, "Hey Siri, I'm looking for a plumbing company. How can I fix my faucet?" You want to make sure that you're addressing those questions on your website because it's going to help you with the voice search of your strategy. And so using this featured snippet strategy where you're answering questions and you're trying to find out what are the actual questions people are asking in your marketplace is going to be critical for you to create a content strategy moving forward. And the last one I want to talk about, and this has been a long video, is Core Web Vitals. Now, this is going to be one that's going to stress out a lot of the SEO community because to do this the right way, you have to be a developer or a designer or just know how to work with websites. In 2021, Core Web Vitals will become a vital ranking signal for most organic websites. And it's basically about page experience. So how does somebody engage and work with your website, specifically on mobile? And so mobile friendliness is going to be key here. Safe browsing is going to be key here. HTTPS is going to be key here. And making sure that you don't have any intrusive signals that's going to damage someone's user experience. At Develomark, our SEO agency, we make the website for the customer, so we have complete control of how this Core Web Vital is going to play out in the near future. So most of you may be familiar with some of the Core Web Vital signals: page speed, user experience, click-through, those different types of things that gives you a good understanding of it. But I want to give you some terms that you can leave here with today just so you have a solid understanding of how important this is going to be. The first one is called large contentful paint. And this is the time that it takes from the moment somebody clicks your page to the moment it loads. And the first large contentful paint is ultimately your site speed. Now, if you're working with an agency that's making your website, or if you're offering website design services, you've got to make sure that this one is top of priority for you. How can you lower your large contentful paint? Remove video, remove large images, make sure that your code is clean, make sure that your hosting is fast. All of these things are clearly very important for you to get faster results from your website, clearing your cache from your domain. There's a lot of tips that I really can't give out inside of this video because we would be here forever. But if you wanted to check out your site, you can go to googlepagespeedinsights.com, and then you can basically put in your domain and quickly and easily find exactly what your Google page speed result is. Now, just a disclaimer, that Google page speed result is going to be different every time you search it. And ultimately, that doesn't really necessarily tell you the accurate measure of how well your site's actually performing. A lot of these sites that are ranking very high on Google have a lower speed because there's other important ranking factors that's there. So don't think that Core Web Vitals is going to be the number one thing that's going to get you to rank. It's going to be a signal. It's going to be a mix of these signals, as we talked about before. And so the next one is called first input delay. And this is the time for when your page takes to become interactive. So when are things moving into play? When are your animations done loading? When can people start clicking on your site and using the buttons? And this is really important because it's going to be critical for you to have your site load fast, things ready to be used, and then the visitor can start on with their experience. And the last one is a layout shift. And so this is how long it takes for content of a visual page that is unexpected, and it should be less than a second. And so this is if you have any things that are coming up into the screen, any videos that should start playing, anything along those lines should be available within a second. And so, with that being said, you can track this by just going into Google Alerts and typing in Google Core Web Vitals to get any updates from Google on how important this stuff is. But ultimately, to the visitor standpoint, it's going to be critical because if somebody's using your website on their phone, it should be usable, especially because Google's now making websites compete against each other because they want to offer the best experience possible to the visitor. So the visitor doesn't start using search engines like Brave or DuckDuckGo or Bing or any of these other search engines that may reward content publishers, especially something like Brave. If you haven't checked out Brave, go ahead and check it out. It's a search engine that's becoming pretty popular for more experienced personnel, I would say. But basically, each of the Core Web Vitals represent a distinct facet of the user experience in a measurable field that Google's going to tell you. So if you're in Search Console, as an example right here, and you go to your overview page, you can see that you have a coverage section. This is critical right here. But also there's now a section called Enhancements, which talks about the Core Web Vitals. And you can see that our site doesn't have enough data. I know that we already have some issues with this and we're going to fix them. But you can see that this data right here, you can open this report and you can see 8 URLs here need improvement. And then you can basically track which URLs need improvement and what's going on. A lot of the times it's going to be LCP issue and CLS issue, which basically means the load time is not fast enough. And like I said, there's a lot of things that you can do to fix that. So don't stress it. Take your time with it. It's not going to be something until probably mid 2021, but do your research and get set up on it so you can know right away why your competitors are going up in the organic search results. That's the primary reason at Develomark we make the website for the customer and manage the website for the customer, because we can deliver these changes relatively quickly. So with that being said, everyone, that's going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. I respond to each and every comment on these videos, and I look forward to seeing you on our next video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again.